It's weird seeing you with a camera again.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bad?
Oh, no, not bad at all.
Are you scared?
Oh, no, not at all. I passed you years ago at this point.
Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah?
All right, so I kind of
Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous, no. No, that's why I started with you.
Damn, I see how it is.
No, so I want to do like a podcast sort of thing, but like I kind of took inspirations of like 30 different. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You see
90 things, you construct your own thing from that. Yeah.
So you're not really stealing. You're just kind of stealing a lot of people's
You're just
work. Borrowing a lot of ideas until it forms into your own. So yeah, I want to do like a podcast / interview more. I kind of wanted to lean more towards interviews, but I get off tangents a lot.
Same.
How are you, by the way?
I'm good, especially like the last like 2 months. Things have been pretty good. Things have been, especially with like the house coming and a lot of other stuff that's kind of like finally getting to the point where things are good again. Like, it's taking a lot of stress off me. And can focus on more important things like vision and shit like that. So
vision's kind of important, I guess.
Yeah. It's just some kind of small show that we do. Yeah. No biggie.
So yes, this is Roger. He is my boss. I
yell at him when he doesn't show up to content because he's sleeping.
That doesn't happen very often. Only once in the past. Only once.
It happens to everybody though, so I can't like single you out.
Yeah. At least when I'm sleeping. So I have a few things written down.
The
cast off.
Dude, fuck you. God damn it. I knew you were going to bring that shit up. So
that's how it started, right?
Oh, no, it started way before that. But that was like the first, because I competed before that. But the cast off was like the first thing where I was like, I'm going to try something other than competing in esports. Like I was like, you know what? This just isn't my thing.
Did you go to tournaments and stuff?
Yeah. Got fucking thrashed at all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Still to this day, I think I could have competed.
Yeah.
Maybe not like pro, like placing top 8 every event, but I could have. If I had the right people around me, I could have. But like, I just didn't. Honestly, I didn't put in the enough time, and I was going to college at the same time, and I was working, so it didn't work out. So I was like, I'm going to focus more on like back end stuff. And casting was like, everyone always said I had a decent voice, so I was like, maybe that's something I could dabble in. And honestly, like it wasn't a mistake though. Yeah. Like casting in front of a lot of people like that to me was terrifying, but because of that, I was like, I need to do this. Yeah, because it's like. It's something that I've never tried. It'll push me, or it'll challenge me a lot. And, why not? And I was young. I was 19 at the time, I think, is when I did it. Yeah. And I wasn't experienced enough.
How old are you right now?
23. I'll be 24 in 2 months.
You're a youngin'.
Yeah, I will say I am incredibly young because I know there's going to be a bunch of people that roast me, but this is the first age that I'm turning that I'm like, damn, I'm getting up there. Yeah. Like, because like 22, you graduate college. 23, usually people give you like a buffer year. Yeah. 24, people are like, what are you going to do, man? Like, what do you got on your plate?
For me, it was like 21 is when you drop out of college.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Like in like a typical like average person, that's what people look at. Like, 22 college, you have like a year or two.
When I turned 24 for me, 23 was still like, okay, I'm still good.
Yeah, see, 24 is when I'm turning. Like this next year is where I'm like, damn, like, holy shit, like I need to start actually paying attention to what I'm doing.
Because when I was 23, I was fucking cruising on Vision. Like,
what's that like?
My channel was popping off.
Vision just being in a good spot at all times.
Well, it wasn't ever in a good spot. Well, I wouldn't say it wasn't ever. The worst Vision season was when it was in its best because people didn't expect anything. The first season of Vision...
Season 3 is probably the glory days, I would consider, probably, right?
Yeah. Season 3, looking back, is definitely the glory days. But vision wise, I was getting annihilated during season 3 every week.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. But season 1, people fucking loved me. Yeah. And I was making 12-minute visions with a T5i on 30 frames per second. Like, didn't know how to color correct.
Yeah. Didn't? Or?
Still don't.
Yeah.
I don't care, though. That's all right. We'll get there.
Well, the thing is, you've always, like, at least to me, you've always said that, like, you're not like a typical videographer. Like, you don't, like, every time I've talked to you, you don't actually classify yourself as, like, a videographer. Like, like your Damien's, your Gabe's, me, like, people like that. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, that's going to be a whole different discussion. Because we'll get there. We'll get there. Trust me.
I'm excited.
So when I discovered you had first started shooting for Elevate. Mm-hmm. And you actually came up to me, right?
Yeah, I actually remember it was
Anaheim?
No, I met Aaron at Anaheim. I met you at Orlando.
Yes, because I didn't go to Anaheim. I was in Poland with Blake.
Something like that.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like that wasn't that long
2016.
Ago.
So it was almost 3 years ago.
Wow. That's crazy. So you were shooting. What were you doing for Elevate?
So Elevate, I actually had a show, an esports news show where I had like a green screen and everything, and I was putting out an episode like every other day. It was actually modeled after OpTic Intel. I don't think you know this at all.
I've never.
But I had like a higher production version of your show.
Really?
Still do, but but I basically had like a show like that I did on my personal channel, and those were like. That was like the grind days.
Do you still have them? No. I went to your channel.
I have them unlisted on my channel.
Yeah, I know. I went to your channel. Private. You have 5 whole videos on there.
Yeah. I went through. I had a bunch of videos. I was like, oh, fuck, this is cringy. And like just privated all of them. Yeah. But they're still up on the Elevate's channel. There's like a couple. Because what happened was January 1st, 2016, I was like, I'm going to do it. Like, we're just going to commit to this. Because I had maxed out a credit card literally like 3 months earlier on a camera. Spent like literally maxed out like $2,000 on a camera and everything, and I was like, I'm gonna make this happen. And then I was literally just sitting on it. And I was working at GameStop and going to school at the time. Like I wasn't making shit for money, so I was stressing out.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? I bought this. I'm gonna commit to it. I've always wanted to do it. So I like started this esports news show that I put out every other day. And this is while I was going to school, and while I was working like full time. At GameStop, and I was getting like a couple hours of sleep like every single night. Like literally my dad was coming up to me or was coming to my room at like 4 a.m. like, did you sleep last night? And I was like, nope. And he would just like shake his head.
Yeah.
Just be like, what are you doing with your life?
Right.
Which it worked out in the end. But like those were like the grind days. I think I put out like 50 episodes in like 4 months.
I mean, at that time, those times, because I was living by myself whenever I was grinding for nothing. Yeah. Literally for nothing. But the person in my life that was like, hey, like, are you good? Was my ex-girlfriend at the time. She would always just be like, so what are you doing again? And I was like, I'm doing, trust me, it'll work.
Yeah.
And it was like,
think
will
big
it
picture,
work?
big picture.
Yeah. But
when you didn't even know what that was.
Right,
at the end of the day, yeah.
I mean, I thought I was grinding for, I don't know what, I don't know really what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. But I think that, I don't know. I think you kind of have to, unless you're like just born.
I feel like anyone that has, especially, or at least in this industry, like nobody knew what this was gonna be at some point, like years and years and years ago. Yeah. They just did it because they loved doing it, and it like just so happened to turn into a career, an amazing career, you know, at that. So like you going through that, and then me going through mine. Like eventually, at one point, to kind of like tie back to what we were talking about with Elevate. I wanted to do like more documentary style stuff, but there wasn't a team that I had access to that I knew that I could create a documentary that people would even consider watching. Like it would be like all these amateur teams going through open bracket, and honestly, at the end of the day, like no one really cared about that. Yeah. So I was grinding that Elevate. One of the recruiters from Elevate saw a couple of my videos, and he's like, hey, how about you do this weekly on our channel? So then it was like May of that year. It switched over to their channel, and then I was like, hear me out. Let me do this at Anaheim. I want to make this documentary for you guys. And they're like, yeah, sure. And I paid for it like fully. That's how like in the videographer world, like especially if you're an up and comer, like with these organizations that are kind of like mid to like low tier, they're not going to pay for your travel. Like they don't know like what you're worth or anything like that. So the first like 2 events I went to, I had to like pay my own way. But it's like, hey, let me like make these documentaries for you. And then I like slowly shifted off of this like news show and then more into like trying to do like videography, like production work.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
we have like the parallel.
Yes. It's actually kind of like crazy.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. It's actually kind of like crazy. Like how you had your path and then my path was like a year late.
Yeah.
Like a year behind you. It was just behind yours, whatever amount of time. But yeah. So, and then I like worked for Elevate, and then I started getting like all these extra clients like over that summer. And then at the end of that year is when I started talking to Team Caliber.
Yeah.
And then that like slowly transitioned into that like over that winter. And then I moved into the house like the following January or following February.
So I'm sure you can talk about this now.
Yeah.
Elevate, not a paid position, right?
No, it was not a paid position.
TK?
Yes, but I was living in poverty for like 9 months.
That's how I was on Intel.
Yeah. So, which it's like, TK was an interesting experience for me. Do you have anything else before we like move on?
No, TK is my next thing.
So like TK was, looking back, I wish, regardless of how that played out, I still think I would be working for OpTic no matter what. Like however I played that. Or whatever I did at TK. But I do wish that there were things that I tried in TK. When I moved into the TK house, this was the first time I had like a full-time job. I'd moved across the country. I'm not gonna lie, I was intimidated as fuck. I literally had no idea what I was getting myself into. And the best way I could be like, okay, this is what my job is gonna be, was to look at what happened to you, because there wasn't like videographers that moved into team houses like in the normal world. Like that wasn't a thing, and you were like the first person to do that. So it's like, okay, it's gonna be very similar to that.
Well, I think Max was the first to do it.
Does he live with them?
I thought he did.
Oh, maybe
back
he does.
then.
Okay,
because
maybe I'm wrong then. I didn't know that, or he wasn't public about it. Like he wasn't a public figure like you were.
Okay,
yeah, and they were kind of expecting me to kind of be very similar,
right?
So.
I get that.
I didn't have I had a lot of drive moving into that house, but living with 9-10 people and being kind of like the grunt of the house, and I didn't know these people when I moved in, which I'm sure you can relate to, like when you moved in,
kind of, but not really, because I was friends with Hex, which is a big difference, because you weren't friends.
No, like I had met Justin for the first time at Vegas, which was the December before. It was the start of the IW season.
Okay.
And then I moved in 2 months later, but me and him had very limited contact.
Right.
Like I met him at the event, and then we exchanged like a couple texts back and forth like over the next like month and a half.
Yeah.
So
I remember when you went to TK, I was like,
no. Well, why is that?
Because I wanted you to come to OpTic.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no. Okay, it happens every time. You went to TK. Justin went to FaZe.
Justin.
Escalona. Yes. Justin went to FaZe.
He left. He got kicked from FaZe.
But this was So he was in FaZe. No. He was a FaZe fan. He started doing docs. He got hired to go to FaZe, and then at the same time, during all that, you went to TK. And I remember talking to Aaron, and I was like, it's about to get weird, because I was like, it's not going to just be like, like I was terrified of FaZe, because I thought that if FaZe got a videographer, like somebody that knew what they were doing, because that's kind of always been like I've always been, this, I'm super not self-conscious, but because I kind of developed a sort of like I don't really give a fuck attitude about it. But obviously when I'm grinding and stuff, and I don't even, like, I'm teaching myself as I'm producing probably like one of the most important fucking pieces of content in OpTic history, and I don't even know how to do it, and I'm faking my way through it, and people are still loving it. Like, I'm just freaking out, because I'm like, somebody's going to come along and do it better. But I think if it hadn't have been that way, then I think it would have been a lot different.
That was probably the fire under your ass, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So. And that on top of like the vlogs and just the lifestyle and everything that came with the Scuff House is pretty much just what kind of put it over the top because it's kind of the same. Like what I did with videos is the same thing like what Seth and Nate did with competing. Like if Nate and Seth had just gone to events, didn't do anything but compete, and even if they won or lost, people would have treated them the same way as they treat people that win or lose regularly. Yeah. But because they got to know them as people, then they could root for them. It's kind of like the same thing. So I remember telling Aaron, I was like, it's like people are finally like these companies are finally learning like
content's king.
Content is the most important part, and so they're getting really good people.
Well, TK tried getting you, or didn't they have you, or something like that?
I was in TK as a sniper.
All right,
and that was it. But I used to play League play in Black Ops 2 and snipe.
Damn. Remember when competitive sniping was a thing? I remember watching those. Yeah.
Tasmo started that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Interesting. But TK, looking back at that experience, I wish I put a lot more effort into the videos that went on that channel. Like I didn't take the initiative that I wish I took. And there was problems on both sides, both from Justin, from me, and just kind of like where our ideas of what should be up on the channel like should be, which ultimately ended up me deciding that I need to leave. I got to a point where I didn't have anything else really lined up, but I was like, I don't want to sit here and take advantage of Justin and TK. I'd rather just move on and have them either go find someone else or just not waste like their time and their money like uploading stuff that I'm not happy with, but the stuff I am happy with, like he like didn't see like fit for the channel or something.
Like you wanted to do docs.
I wanted to do more like story driven like documentary content, which it's like the only team TK had at the time was COD, and they were placing like top 16, top 12 at the time.
I actually watched the entire CWO Atlanta video that you uploaded. It's really good. But it is. Yeah. It is really good. The shots are amazing. The intro is fire, but you can only do so much when they played 4 games.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was thinking. Like I saw that and I was like, I actually watched it back then too. And I was like, if TK would have done well, this would have been a fire video.
And then they went and won fucking 3 events and got second at champs the next year, right after I left.
Yeah.
So which I remember when they won the next event, my mentions were just fucking thrashed. They were just this is what you get for leaving, blah, like all this shit.
I remember tweeting about it. I was like, after their second or third event win, I was like, they still don't have a document. Like they still don't have a videographer.
Yeah.
Like
keep in mind, when I say all this stuff, I love TK, I love Justin, I love everybody, like Brandon, all those guys. Like those guys are all the homies. Like I still see them at events.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, so don't think that I'm like thrashing them.
Yeah.
I still love TK, but yeah.
Same. I mean, I don't know. Same as an ex-sniper.
Yeah. But yeah, that was from there. I literally moved from the TK house, and my friend Ben, who lived in Huntington Beach at the time, was like, hey, you can come stay with us. And I literally slept on his couch for like 4 months until I got set up in LA with this job. Wow. But I literally went from the TK house, and I was like, I don't want to move home, but I can't stay in TK.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense for me to stay in TK.
Right.
Like, I need to figure out something else. And my friend Ben and Reggie, who are both videographers, were like, hey, just come stay with us in Huntington. You can do like some freelance work through our like startup production company and to make some money, and you can just live with us for a little bit. And after like a month of living on their couch, I got a call from our old boss. Or you texted me saying, oh, I'm skipping a bunch of shit of like how we started talking. Go ahead and...
I was going to start from my end. So
yeah, go ahead.
So while I remember telling you this, and you didn't even... I don't think you knew this was happening. But during all right, so 2017 was weird because it started out the same as 2016, which is probably my best year career-wise. So 2016 was awesome pretty much the whole year. 2017, the beginning was dope, and then we all kind of knew something was happening. Mm-hmm. Shit started changing. We eventually knew that we were going to move. We thought we were moving to Seattle. Then we thought we were moving to Detroit.
Seattle would have been dope.
I want to move to Seattle eventually. Anyway, no, maybe it wasn't Seattle, but I know Detroit was one of them for sure. And then we finally figured out it was going to be Dallas. And I remember being like, hey, if we're going to do this, we need somebody else. And then it became, you know how Hex is with OpTic, like the name.
Yeah.
So then it became, I remember that all of us, every single person in content was sitting down in the house on the couches. And then it was like Hex and Jay were there too. And we were all just like kind of going back and forth about, because I was like, I need help. Like, I can't just fucking do this shit.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And so I was like, this is the guy I want. And then it became, no, we're going to hire outside. We're going to hire outside of esports.
Like a professional, yeah.
Right. And I was like, no, we're not. Like, we're not going to do that, because if we do that, you'll be able to tell. Like, everyone will be able to tell, which we've learned.
Yeah.
And which I already knew, didn't learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get fucking prideful.
See, this is the part of the conversation where I get fired.
No, you're not going to get fired. You're good. So anyway, we're all sitting there, and I'm like this. It became more. It's so frustrating to think back on it, because it was Aaron and I saying we need Roger, and I don't even think. Did you even know any of this was happening? Because I can't remember if I told you or if I even talked to you. I can't even remember.
No, not really. Like, I remember at one point, it was when you guys got the CS house, and you guys were planning on moving the CS team in there. I remember I was like, damn, they should get a videographer for that house. Right. And I was like, kind of like, because you and I didn't really know each other at that point. So, like, I wasn't like, oh, maybe like I could do that. I was just like, oh, that'd be kind of dope.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, like, I just need to focus on making my docs. But I didn't know anything was actually up until DreamHack, when you and I talked the very first time. And you like teased that something could possibly happen.
DreamHack.
We were at the bar. Do you remember that? Or were you?
Maybe.
It was 2 weeks before LCQ.
Why was I there? What was happening at DreamHack?
I think you had Halo? And I was filming H1. And what happened? I remember I like passed you, and I was like, "Oh, how you doing, man?" Blah blah blah. And like we did like the normal like, "Oh, nice seeing you." Blah blah blah. And you were like, "How you doing?" I was like, "I'm okay." And this is when I was going through it with TK, and I was like, "I don't know like where I want to go." And you're like, "Oh, what's up?" And then I kind of said, like, "Oh, I just don't know if like this is for me." Like TK, blah 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 blah. And I was kind of like venting, and you were like, "Oh, well, just so you know, like." We're potentially going. You were like kind of like teasing, like, "Hey, there might be an opening at some point." And at that point, I was like,
"Yeah," which I didn't do that to anyone. Like, it's not like I did that to a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. Like, you were the first on the list. It was like you and Muggsy, which I think is he still doing stuff for Straight, or is he doing stuff for Envy?
Well, he was at Straight, then he went to Envy, and now he's actually working for Halo. I think he's working like for 3 for 3 now. Yeah,
that's cool. So yeah, it was like, so it was anyway that to set the scene. We were all in the living room, and it turned from Aaron and I saying we need help to how that was going to come about, because Hex is obviously very protective of OpTic, and he didn't want what happened with me to happen again, which I guess makes sense. I guess obviously I'm a little biased because we're talking about fucking me. But he was just like
shit worked out.
He was like, well, that's not going to happen again, because so many people get OpTic in their name and then they stop working. Yeah. It's really weird to think about that. How many times that's happened, because I kind of noticed it when I was an OpTic fan, and then when I joined, I was like, wow, that actually does really it happens a lot. It happens, but it happens everywhere. It happens in FaZe. It happens like you'll have snipers in FaZe that have been sniping to go from fucking elevate to red, and then they get to FaZe and then they stop. It's like you just got there. Anyway, so that's what he was saying is we're not going to let that happen again. And he was like, we're going to hire outside, and I was like, we're not going to hire outside, because I need somebody that I know like I know how to work with. And then it was, well, then how are we going to hire him? We need to make another company in order to hire him because he can't just be OpTic. And then Jay would be like, why can't he just be OpTic? And then I was like, I'm fine with whatever. I just need fucking help. You know what I mean? So that whole shit was happening, and at the time I was just like, I was getting so frustrated because I knew your situation. I knew how good you were, and I knew that TK wasn't utilizing, because it's not like they were disrespecting you. From my point of view, but it was just like TK's content is very particular. It's very trolly, funny, quick cuts, funny edits, which if somebody ever asked
it's definitely not my style.
If somebody ever asked me to do that, I'd be like furious.
Yeah, which is why Joe is so good at that now.
Yeah,
but we can get to that. Way down.
So that was happening, and I think that was a conversation for like 3 or 4 months. That was a conversation for like 3 or 4 months, and then I got fired. Then
just skip over all of that. Yeah.
No, because I was gonna be like the what ended up being the president of No Scope. I was gonna be that, but then I got told I wasn't gonna be that. So then, we can say his name, right?
Who? You can cut it, right?
No, I don't want to cut.
Are you talking about the president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. All right. So our old boss, the old president of No Scope, his name was Reed. So I met Reed. Didn't meet him. I talked to Reed on the phone, and he was like, "So, just wanted to catch up because basically he didn't know what." I just kind of had to tell him what was going on.
Yeah.
So then he was like, "So I'm going to start making hires in the next week." He was like, "And I wanted any of your recommendations." And I was like, "This dude, like this is the first dude you need to pick up." So then I believe he called you like a couple days later.
Which I remember when that happened. So this is like 3 weeks of me sleeping on a couch at my friend's place. Like, holy fuck, what am I doing with my life? And then I remember you texting me like, "Hey, what's your email?" And I like instantly I sent you my email back. And then I get an email from Reed. And I looked at it and it had like his other company listed. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Like at the time, not knowing, I was like, who the fuck is this guy emailing me? I was like, does like Hitch feel bad that he like tried getting me a spot like working for OpTic, and now he's trying to palm me off on someone else? That's how I took it.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I was like, damn, I totally just missed that. Fuck me. Because like, and this is like me like waiting on like potential things to work out because I was again sleeping on someone's couch. And I was like, damn, that totally sucks. And I remember texting you like, who is this? And you're like, oh, he's like helping with stuff for OpTic now. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet.
Right.
So then I got on a phone call with him. It went really well. It worked out that Outlaws had actually got announced like 2 days after I had that phone call, because he was being super vague on the phone call. He was like, okay, like we have Outlaws, like our new Overwatch brand. I don't even think he said Outlaws. Yeah. He's like, we have our new Overwatch brand, and then we have another franchise spot in LA. He wouldn't say, which was League.
League, okay.
But like he wouldn't tell me. And I was like, there's only one other franchise
in LA.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, so I was like, okay, they're doing League of Legends. And at the time, like what got me into videography and cinematography was the first thing I ever saw on YouTube was C9 Genesis. And then in the recommended, I saw TSM Legends. And that's what got me hooked on like,
you saw Genesis before Legends?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And that's how I connected like esports with, oh, I want to, like, this is what I want to do with my life. And so hearing, oh, there's another franchise spot, it's League, I was like super attracted to that. I was like, that's what I want to do. But it was going to start for a couple months, and Outlaws was going on. So I was like, sweet, like I can work on this, and then I can work on League, which ended up being a lot to handle balancing both. But yeah, that's how I like got brought in, was through that. And I remember this. I'm not sure if you ever heard about this. So Jay and Reed flew out at the it was BlizzCon 2017. They flew out, and this was like my test phase. Right. Like, okay, we're gonna have you shoot this event, and then if it goes well, like sweet, like we'll bring you on. I remember shooting all day. It went super well. We filmed the announcement for PUBG. We did like interviews for Overwatch League, everything. And I was supposed to send it over to you. I remember. I get home that night. I plugged my SD card in. files got corrupted. I was like, I just got fucked out of a job. I was like, holy shit.
What?
I just got screwed. I'm not going to get hired now. I'm a dumbass. I don't know what happened. Like, my card literally got corrupted. And I bought like $100 worth of like recovery software. I was like, I can't even afford this, but I need this job. Bought a bunch of software, and I recovered everything but the PUBG announcement. Like, because it was such a large file that it just couldn't be recovered. So I was like, holy shit, I'm screwed. So I literally texted Reed. I was like, hey man, like, this is like my future boss. Like, I've known him for literally like 24 hours, like in person. I was like, hey man,
that shit's crazy.
My files got corrupted on my camera. Can we reshoot in the morning? Like, haha, LOL, like, please. And he was like, yeah, sure. Like, he was super nice about it. I was like, thank God.
Right.
And then we reshot the interview.
That would have been
Jay.
Hex.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think if my files would have corrupted. And
like when you're testing,
going from Intel to OpTic, like the first week of the Scuff House, my ass would have been back in North Carolina.
Yeah, but and he was super nice about it, and he was like, yeah, and he was like, he sat down with me, and he was like, yeah, man, like, we're super interested. Like, is this something you want to do? Like, what do you want to do, like, with your career? I explained it, and he's like, sweet, that works out perfectly for us.
Right.
So, and then that's how I got brought on. So.
Yeah,
and it was a stressful time because I had to commute. I was in Huntington Beach. Do you know LA well?
Not really.
No. So I lived in Huntington Beach, and the Overwatch team competes in Burbank, which was like 35 miles. I didn't have a car, and I was sleeping on a couch. I probably had like $200 in my bank account. I was like, holy shit. So my parents gave me my sister's old like 94 Taurus. This thing was on its last leg. This thing was about to die, and it actually did die. Like, it ended up. I drove it for like 3 weeks, like 70 miles every single day to Overwatch. Literally 35 there, 35 back in LA traffe, shooting the Overwatch, and then also trying to shoot League like every once in a while on top of that. And like,
if hell is personalized to somebody instead of just complete darkness or whatever it is, my hell would be LA traffic all the time.
Yeah.
So
it's not
you
fun.
Saying that, I think my body temperature just rose just by hearing you say
it. It is the most frustrating thing ever. Like, the only thing that got me by was listening to podcasts and like music and like audiobooks. That's the only thing. I would have gone insane if I didn't.
Right.
But like, it also was like a lot of thinking time because you like are just like, oh, how am I going to put this piece together? And you literally have like an hour and a half to think of how you're going to do it, and then you get home and you can just start. So it was kind of nice in some aspects, but.
Yeah,
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It was so bad.
Yeah,
and
you were also okay. All right. So then the Dallas moves happened. So you started working when we were still in the Scuff House.
Yes.
Then the Dallas move happens, and you're kind of. So I remember thinking like I wanted you a part of the team for like 6 months, and then you finally became a part of the team, and I didn't see you.
Yeah,
like ever.
Yeah, like I think me and you probably talked 5 times until I moved to Texas.
Yeah. And each time it was like,
how you doing, man? And you're like, and you're trying to hide it. You're like,
everything's going great. So
I remember when you came to LCS for the first time for week 1. Yeah. And I was like, oh, how you doing, man? And you just were like, I was like, yeah, he's going through it. I didn't know what at the time because obviously like I was so isolated.
Yeah.
So like the first 2 months of me working here, I was like, everything's great. Like everything's perfectly fine. Like because I was so out of the loop.
Yeah.
I didn't have like a boss to report to. Like I reported to Reed.
Yeah.
But like he was in Texas, so like I saw Reed probably twice in 3 months.
Yeah.
So it was like I was off on my own, like doing whatever. Like doing whatever. I was working, obviously. I had Overwatch and League to bounce off. At one point, I was running both their doc series, which for like 3 weeks. Yeah. And that, bro.
Okay.
I almost lost my mind doing that.
That was when I was in Dallas. I remember that. Mm-hmm. So I'm in Dallas fucking throwing a hissy fit every day. Mm-hmm. Just being, I've always been a very level-headed guy, never angry, never mad. And then I get to Dallas and I turn... that's when like the whole like, oh, Hitch is a drama queen or a bitch. Like I'd never been called any of those things in my life. And then Dallas happened and it fucking threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, because I'm so confused about what's happening and angry and emotional all at the same time. And so I'm just like we don't have like, I know that this is so far. This is when you're going to start have to tiptoe.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's fine. But yeah, so I'm sitting there like, I don't have space. I don't have equipment. And then I'm getting pressure to upload 7 times a day when we're going to be uploading terribly. And then I'm just sitting there like, I don't have any help. And if there's any tension between us, it's other people's doing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's so frustrating. And so I feel like we always just laugh about it, and that's our way to get it.
Because I in those situations, you can't be mad at me, and I can't be mad at you, because it's like
it's so unfair.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of those white elephant moments was during that time when I'm saying, I'm not going to make content that's terrible just because we have to fit some sort of 7 day whatever it's called. And what they kept saying was, well, right now Roger's in LA running 2 different documentary series. And I'm like, that's because you just gave Roger the fucking opportunity of a lifetime, and he's sleeping 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are idiots. Like, I was sitting there like, I know what that's like. I did it. I traveled and did everything, and
well, it's
as
one
far
of those
as
things,
vision.
like, you're in a new job. It's like your boss says jump, you say how high,
right?
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening, and I knew that was what was happening, and I kept saying that, and they kept taking that as an excuse, and I'm like, look, I like, you can't tell me how good of a job Roger's doing when I was the one that told you to hire him. Like, I know what was going on. I knew what was going to happen, and it's happening, and I'm grateful. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to fucking do shit here.
Yeah.
So, and I think I like. So then when I went to LCS the first week, and you were like, so how's things going? And I'm just like, they're going really great, you fucking perfect piece of shit. But then I was like, the burnout's going to happen, and the burnout eventually did happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that sucked is the burnout happened. Actually, no, not right as I took over Vision. It happened.
It happened before that, because you had. You were running 2 series.
Well, no, I was running 2 series, and then I was like, I have the perfect person to bring on, because I was like, Reed, okay, like, we need somebody. And like, I knew going in to doing both those doc series, we needed another person. I was like, we need another person, but like, we just couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was like hitting up a lot of my friends, like, hey, like, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to find my perfect person, so I need someone that we can bring on and he can learn.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need someone who is passionate and has a good work ethic. Anything else past that at this point doesn't matter, because they can learn. And that's when I was like, Narwhal.
Isn't that when Reed told me to find somebody?
Probably.
And that's when I tweeted out the whole, like, if you're...
I think something like that. Because I tweeted the same thing. Like, 3 times. I was like, I fucking need somebody.
Yeah.
So, and then that's when we found Narwhal.
Yeah.
So, and he took over Overwatch, because he didn't know League or Overwatch at the time.
Right.
And I was like, I really want to do League.
Right.
So let's throw him on Overwatch. And then that's when I focused just on Recall, which if I could go back, I'd redo Recall all over again. I look at it, I think it's so bad. And like, there's a lot of the stuff I put out last year I hate, which sucks. Like, there's only probably like 2 episodes of Vision I truly like that my name is attached to that.
But like Comeback or whatever. What was the name of it?
It was the Vegas episode.
Yeah, what was the name of it?
I think it was Comeback. It was Comeback.
Holy shit! I know your vision's better than you do.
Yeah, probably. And then the most recent one, I actually really liked the most recent one. I think it went well. So there's a lot of shit I would have changed. Because like we almost went like 2 months without an episode of Vision.
Right.
Like we posted the Vegas one and then this one.
Right.
Like there's nothing in between. And it was just like there wasn't a lot happening in January, but it's like we were also getting a lot of stuff set up for like the house. Like there was a lot of back end stuff that was happening that the fans just couldn't know about. So it was like it was setting up Fuel Royale, like making sure that those were like on a good schedule, because like obviously Mountain Dew needs to like be happy with like what we're giving them. So it was like getting that off and then like getting the house situated, and we were moving out of not only the old No Scope studio and the old house. So it was like since we didn't have a location to film, it's like, okay, where are we going to film? Oh, at the new house, we can't do that because we haven't announced it yet. So it was like, okay, we're in this like awkward like transition period. So it was like, damn, it was weird. But we're fast forwarding way too much.
We really are.
Yeah.
So let me go back. Let's talk about recall.
Yeah.
So you kind of already explained your lifestyle. Talk about the WeWork offices and how that kind of got set up and what it was like working out of there.
So WeWork was interesting. I remember going there when we got the keys. It was me, Keaton, Acadian, one of our league players at the time.
In case there's people like that don't know what WeWork is, or people from So it's basically like a huge building with floors of office space. Yeah. And you rent out office space, and it's extremely expensive.
Yes, I don't think we can go into like numbers, but it was, even for LA, extremely expensive. Like it would have been cheaper for us to
buy a house.
Yes, yes, it actually would have been to do that. But we had this like small room. If you go back and watch the series, you can see we had this like 15-foot by 10-foot room that was outrageously overpriced, and we didn't have any seats for our assistant GM, for myself. And all the players and staff were like claustrophobic in this room. It just like wasn't a good environment. Luckily, they're in an amazing spot now.
Yeah. Oh, their spot now is so sick.
Yeah, dude, I literally moved here when a week after we got that space. Like I was literally looking at I went and visited that spot like right before I moved. I was like, great. I was like, I had already decided I was moving at this point.
I walked into those offices and I think my face, you could fucking you could cook an egg on it. I walked in and I looked at Hex and I was like,
Santa Monica on like an 18th floor. You can literally see downtown LA. You can see down the beach. Like you can see the ocean. It was like that office is so dope.
Yeah,
and it still is. But so we were working in that offices. So and WeWork offices, like we had this like one section, but there's people literally across like a tiny like 2-foot hallway that are like lawyers and like a bunch of other businesses. So it's like we can't be super loud in like that facility because other people are working. There was like a watch company like right next to us, and all the walls are glass.
Yeah,
so everybody can see what everybody's doing. So going in there and filming on like a daily basis was a challenge because not only do you have to worry about other people and like other logos and everything, but you have to like it just wasn't aesthetic because everything was so cramped. It just didn't look good on camera. So it was like it was really hard to like creatively like put stuff together. But it was fun. Like I really enjoyed focusing on one team. Like man, I would go back and redo it. Like knowing what I know now and experience wise, like from a cinematography standpoint, there's so much I would change with that show.
Put yourself in my shoes for 2 seconds. Just think. I mean, because your stuff was so good. I remember watching Recall like the first couple episodes, and I was like this is good, and it's gonna get great. Do you think
it didn't do well view wise? I think the first episode got like 63K views, and I was like, that's pretty good for like a first episode of a team that's not endemic to OpTic. Like this makes sense, but it like slowly just started. It didn't help that our roster wasn't doing well,
right?
But I think the last couple episodes were getting like anywhere from like 7 like 12,000 views, and like that just isn't good on the channel. Like it's not healthy for the channel.
And I would say I don't think Recall's.
We only did half a season too,
right? I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. Like I kept saying that. I was like, you have a perfect person out there that's great, but I don't think Recall is a good idea. And then I kept getting it's so frustrating. Mm-hmm. Don't say anything. Just let me vent. Yeah. I kept getting hit with, but League is our most important team. League is our best team. League is our most popular team. And then I would say, no, it's not. Like Call of Duty is our most popular team, and I promise you, if anybody is going to be successful, you have to put fucking Seth's face right beside them. Mm-hmm. Which poor Seth, like dude's been doing this for way too long to have to put up with that. But that's literally how it was. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and that's why in one of the visions I put the Recall intro in it, and then that was when I went to LCS. I tried to promote Recall in Vision.
Yeah,
and it was good. But what you probably even knew was going to happen, ended up happening.
Yeah.
And I remember you, every time I talked to you, you were like pretty. That was you. I don't know if it bothered you, but you always brought it up. You're like, yeah, well, Recall's not doing so hot, and I'm like, but it's not. Yeah, it's not on
like
you.
At the end
though.
of the day, like I was at the time, I didn't like. I was still very new to the job, and even just like videography in general. So I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
But like looking back on it, I'm not really a huge fan of like the work that I was putting out back then. But I was like, I'm happy making this. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Right.
I just wish it got more views.
Is Recall your baby?
No. Dude, remember the fight we got in?
Baby? The fight we got in?
No. The fight we got in over the name of Recall. Yeah. So we were trying to brainstorm names for a lot of the series. So we were like, Vision is our premier level series. The name is Vision. So I was like, let's try, like, so when we brought on Overwatch, when we brought on League, we decided we were going to create separate documentaries for it. We had to for Overwatch because technically it had to be a separate brand.
Yes.
But then we decided we were going to do one for League.
Which we got told we had to, which technically we don't.
Yeah, the thing is, I still see value in doing it separately, but like,
well, there is back end value. I know there is.
Yeah, so it's a complicated topic, but I was like, we need to come up with names that tie into OpTic and Vision.
I think
like
this is the first, because I hid the tension from you.
This is the first time that I had really seen
how bad shit was.
Again, tiptoe.
Well, it's just so many
this is the first time I had seen problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll put it like that.
Yeah, and this is
I literally got like a huge message. And this is going to be like the first time this is me like busting my ass for probably like 2 months straight. I was like I'm finally like earning some respect.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm finally in like a decent spot. And then they told me that the name of our League series was going to be Resolve.
Resolve, that's what it was. I was trying to remember.
And I was like, fuck no, it's not. I was like, there's no way this is going to be the name of the series. And the guy who had brainstormed this idea sent me this fucking essay of why this made sense. And I remember he sent me this huge essay and I just replied, no. I was literally just like, this isn't happening. I was like, and this is where my ego came out. I was like, I'm making probably 99% of this show. We're not naming it Resolve. Yeah. I hate that name because it's like Resolve is to settle. And I was like, we're going up against names like Squad, Legends, Champions, like The Heist, like all this. And then we have Resolve. I was like, that there's no power. There's no oomph to that name. And it doesn't even tie back to OpTic. So I was like, it does not make sense. And then the next day, they're like, we're calling it Recall. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not going to fight.
Yeah.
It's better. Still don't like it, but it's better. So that's why.
What was your name?
I can't even remember. Like, I remember Wards was a name at one point. Came up with Oracle last year, which is the name of the series now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Was it Oracle?
That's why that makes sense.
I think you came up with Oracle. I think I remember you texted me. You said Oracle.
Shit. And
I was like, actually, that's not a bad name because it kind of ties in with like all-seeing eye, all-seeing person, vision, like kind of that vibe.
Okay, yeah.
But like it didn't really tie into League,
fuck?
so I was like,
forgot about that. Because when I saw Oracle, I was like, that sounds familiar. I forgot that. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And one of the last thing on that topic, like one of the biggest issues when that was going on is that it was, without throwing people under the bus, I'm going to say this, it was people not even within No Scope, not even within management that was telling you to name your series. Yeah. And that's when you came to me, and then I was just kind of like,
let me fill you in.
Yeah. Like, shit is not good over here. And I think that was like one of the biggest things is that there was so many people in one office with so many different opinions that all had ego trip. Like, holy shit, dude. Yeah. And it's not like everyone was full of themselves. It was like everyone was trying to earn something. Everybody was, because there were so many fucking people in one company that it's so easy to get forgotten. So you have to do that one thing that
stands out.
Yeah. And for this, it was, and at the time, the company that those two people were under hadn't done anything yet. And so, which they eventually did, and the stuff that they did do was great. But at the time, they were. I was just like, why are you guys even like? This doesn't even concern you.
Yeah.
And so that's what was happening. So then we. You're gonna have to super tiptoe. The first time you come to visit Dallas.
Yeah, that was right after. So Recall finished Spring Split, and I literally flew out the next day. They're like, "Hey, we want you." For the longest time, Rita was like, "Hey, we want you to come visit the office," and I was like, "Sweet, dope, let me come visit." And I think I was gone for like. It was during that time I was gone for. I think it was like 3.5 weeks. I didn't go home. Because I went somewhere, or I went to Dallas. Then I went to the Dota event, and then I came back. Yeah, that's what it was. Because this is when Vision, we decided that Vision, you were giving up Vision. Was when I came to visit the first time, right?
No.
Wait, wasn't?
I was still doing Vision. The first time you came down was the Modern Warfare 2 video.
Oh yeah, I remember I came in and everything was like. This is right after. The apocalypse, I guess we can call it. It was right after Around the Bar and everything had gone down. Because February was when you went to Mexico.
Yeah.
And everything happened. And then...
Holy shit. Yeah, I am getting ahead of myself.
So I came to, like, everything... We went through the apocalypse.
So wait, whenever...
Do you want to touch on that at all?
Whenever I made the video, you were still in LA.
Yeah.
Did you have
I remember
any
watching
idea?
that. I remember... I knew that tensions were rising. Because it was like... It was... When we named the series, that was like the first thing I had mentioned, and you like filled me in. And then I think 2 or 3 weeks after we named it is when you released Around the Bar.
Right.
So I knew like tensions were rising. I didn't know it was gonna hit that, though. Yeah. I remember you released that video, and I think I had released. Oh no, because I released Recall like the day after. I remember, and or it was like 2 days after, or something like that. I remember I was on Reddit or something like that, and someone was everyone was talking about like drama and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what is this? And they were talking about this Around the Bar. I was like, the fuck is everyone talking about? So I saw you upload a video. I was like, oh, what happened? So I clicked on it and watched the whole thing, and I was like, okay. So we just opened like a can of worms. And then we uploaded Recall like 2 days after that, and it was getting fucking thrashed. Like it was like half dislikes.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was more than that. I think it was like 60-70% dislikes on the video just because everyone was just attacking this. And I was like, holy shit. And I remember tweeting about it.
And that's another thing. That's like,
and I was like,
if I had, I would have been like, don't upload Recall because Roger's going to get fucking blasted,
murdered on
and
site.
Then he's going to hate me.
Oh no, I knew it. I wouldn't take it to that point because I was like, okay, everything's at that point. I was just like, that doesn't concern me. I was just like, almost like not turning a blind eye, but just being like,
yeah,
I have no control over this. I'm not wasting energy on it. I was like, I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability. If I get shit on, I get shit on, but at least I know I did what I could possibly do. So that's what I was doing. Go through a Windows update mid-podcast, deletes everything. That would suck. But,
yeah, we're good.
Yeah. And then weeks and weeks of LCS goes on. And things got better, like over time. Time heals all for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I came to visit the first time, which was right after. And yeah, I remember I when I got to Dallas, I realized what the video team here was dealing with from like a space, equipment, everything like that. I saw what the Dallas situation was like.
When you visited, I was hands off.
Yes, you were already gone.
Wow. Okay, it makes sense now. Yeah. Because for some reason I remembered it wrong. I remember us talking, and I thought that's because I was like, see how bad it is? Like, this is what I'm dealing with. But it was you coming down, and then you came to me.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned it first, though. I ended up expanding the conversation, but I remember you mentioning it to me first.
What do you mean I mentioned to you? It mentioned it to you. No, I was talking about the space and everything.
Oh, yeah,
like, when you were setting up
I saw everything, and I was like, what the fuck is like going on?
When were you setting up for the Modern Warfare 2 video?
Yeah, because like we were in this like tiny studio at the office, and I was like, okay, like we need like more like permanent setups. And we had this like empty office. So I was like, let's just set up in there. And I remember I went in, I took all the PCs, all the audio equipment, everything by myself, and I just went in there, put a couple like plastic desks down, threw like all the equipment together, and then I remember taking a picture and like tweeting it. And like literally everyone was like, "Oh my god, fucking, like we're finally getting shit, blah blah blah." And that video, not banged. It banged for the time.
For the time,
it banged. Yeah,
it was like 500K or something, right?
Which, man, that was a good idea. Going back and doing like all the old CODs and everything like that. But yeah. So I remember like putting those videos out and being like, okay, because I remember like there was a bunch of ideas getting thrown around. This is back when like a lot of the video staff that we had were like, they didn't understand where OpTic came from. They didn't know that like Bose and Mike are a duo. Right. And that like even simple things like that, you don't like, there's certain things you just don't change about the content, like the intro to the podcast, like that music. I remember when we brought that back and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is so nostalgic, blah 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 blah." Like
nostalgic when it was happening 3 months ago. 3 months prior to that,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
But like,
it just should never have been changed in the first place.
There's a lot of things that just shouldn't have been changed from the get-go, and they did. And I was like, okay, let's bring this back. And this is before I decided to move. Like, I was still, like, I'd live in LA. I was just coming to visit and help. And to, like, meet everyone at the office. So I was like, and I was, like, trying to show, like, a lot of the guys. And Joe, who is still with us now, had just started working. And he knew nothing of esports. He didn't know OpTic at the time. So he was like he came in and literally got blindsided by around the bar and was like, "What the fuck?"
Joe's going to be my next person on this.
That'll be interesting. Bro, Joe's going to say some dumb shit. It's going to be so funny though.
Yeah. It's going to be hilarious. So then you eventually, I think based off of that, I remember, I don't know if it was this time you moved down or visited, or if it was the next time where you were like, I have to move down.
Yeah, so I think I went to an event. I think I went to a Dota event. Okay. And that's the one the episode that ended up being in Finale 4.
Yes.
So I went to a Dota event and I spent a week in Kiev, which was fun, shooting the Dota guys. And they really hadn't gotten a whole lot of recognition. Like, I think they'd only been in Vision like once up to that point. Because near the end of like your time, like Vision was getting more and more scarce. Like you were uploading like once a month, I think, something like that. And it's just like you want to do things right. So you're like, I'm gonna wait till I can do this right, which is kind of how I am now. But it's so I went and filmed the Dota major, and we did extremely well at it. We got second. Or no, we won. Oh no, that wasn't the major. That was in Birmingham. We got second at Birmingham, but we got first at the minor. It was a minor event in Kiev. And then I came back, and then that's when we talked about me potentially moving here. For like the second half of like spring split, like February, beginning of March, Reed was like, "Hey, we want you to move down here and work on our Insight series," which was our new Counter-Strike documentary series. Because he's like, he was under the impression like, Hitch has Vision. He's not going to give it up. It's his. We can't do anything with that. So let's start a CS documentary series, and let's have you move here. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I really want to do CS because they travel all the time, and I wanted to travel. And it's like a big team for OpTic. Like it has a lot of history. But I was like, you know what? I really like LCS, and I was like, I just like living in LA because I had the spot in LA. Oh my gosh, I still miss it. Matt, who's sitting over there, has to listen to me bitch about moving from Santa Monica to Frisco, Texas, all the time. But where was I going with that?
Eventually moving down here.
So eventually moving here. Like Reed was saying, like, hey, we want you to move, we want you to move, we want you to move. And then when I came to visit, they were like, hey, well, we want you to move, but we understand that you don't want to. And then I remember you and I were in the OpTic Plays room that I had set up, and you had said something like along the lines of, I don't even want to do Vision anymore, or something like that. And I heard that, and I was like, whoa, what? And you're like, honestly, like, I just don't want, like, if we can't do it right, like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And he's like, you said, like, I'd rather just have you do it. And I was like, hold the phone. I was like, are you being serious? Or are you just, like, saying shit just because you're, like, upset or whatever?
This is when you already moved down.
No. I hadn't moved yet. I didn't move until May.
So how many episodes of Vision did I do? When on the timeline did the Halo team get dropped?
I think March.
I
totally forgot about that.
I was in Seattle when it happened at the Call of Duty event.
I think that was March.
The day that happened. The day we.
Oh no, that was April.
So we have it happened.
That was when I was doing Dota, I think.
Okay. And then the day after the Halo team got dropped, we picked Jack up, or the weekend after, because I remember all of our fucking Avies were still black whenever Jack got
yeah.
Because I remember Jack was like, "Hey, are you guys gonna change your Avies whenever I get picked up?" We were like, "No." But
he's like, "What the fuck am I walking into?" At this point, yeah.
Yeah. So then, because then that happened, and I still had Vision. Oh, yeah. Okay. Because the Around the Bar happened, I wasn't going to be doing Vision. I was going to be a content creator. Then there was this weird feud between Hex and I.
From you.
There's this weird feud between Hex and I because people still thought Hex was in control of everything, and Hex was getting blasted. Dude.
Yeah.
Hex actually texted me. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. Hex actually texted me that day and was like, I don't know where we stand. He texted me that.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's after like 2.5 years of like
4.5 years. Yeah. Because even prior to the Scuff House.
Oh, that's true.
But I was just like, dude, I like, what am I supposed to say? Like, anyway. So then, whenever I get Hex on, we'll talk about that. We've never talked about that ever.
You and Hex are gonna be.
Hex and I have never talked about it. Hex made his video. Hex actually made his video talking about me, and he said, just so you know, this is what I'm uploading, and he sent me a video, and it was harsh, dude. It was harsh. Yeah.
Damn.
But I watched it, and I was like, all right, man, if that's what you want to do, upload it. Like, I didn't mean for this to be a me and you thing. Mm-hmm. And then he uploaded the video, and it was a completely different video.
Damn.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk to... Like
the X-Files.
Like you like me. Like you like me.
Yeah.
I'm your fucking friend. Don't act like I'm not. Anyway, so then the Halo team or Around the Bar, me versus Hex, that gets cleared up. I don't have Vision. Hex gets me Vision back. I have Vision, but everyone hates me in the office because of that video.
Yep.
Which rightfully so. I don't blame anybody. And then I go through this weird that's just a blur. When I had Vision, but not really, but didn't do content, but kind of did content. That whole section is just a blur, and it was like, it was the worst feeling ever. Like, so then that's when I was just sitting there, I think I was just like this in the OpTic Plays room, and I was like, dude, I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
like there's no point. Because I knew the COD team was going to break up. Like I knew everything.
Yeah.
And
knowing what you know now, would you still give it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't come back right now. Like I couldn't do it right now.
Yeah.
If Hex comes back, I'm coming back, and then we'll figure that out. We'll just fucking.
Yeah.
Would you, if I came back?
Now we're getting into the.
What would you do?
Stuff.
What would you want to do? And I'm not. This isn't a clickbaity thing. Like, this is something that
this is like actual
genuinely I think about.
You know, I've actually, especially the last like month, 2 months, I've actually thought about this a lot. I don't know.
Yeah,
because like, if you were to come back, I have, even though like I feel like I have earned a spot to like create like a top end doc series like Vision, I'm still not I don't want to be the guy that says like, no, this is mine.
Yeah.
Because like with things being difficult with Vision, if like for instance like things got easier with the series, like there's still so many things that are I gotta tiptoe around this. There's still a lot of things that I struggle with Vision today. That
I couldn't deal with. My hard-headed ass would not be able to deal with. So
if it were to get easier, like if I were put in a situation where I could do the series how I wanted to, like I would want to do it because I have a love-hate relationship with Vision. I'm sure you had one kind of similar, probably more towards love. But
Actually, I never hated Vision.
Really?
Until I got to Dallas.
Okay, yeah, it's I don't know. Like I'm torn like back and forth because I love doing the series. It's just there's a lot of things that I wish I could do that I either my hands are tied or I have time restraints, things like just a bunch of stuff like that. So if I were put in a position where I could do it properly, exactly the way I wanted to do it, like I would want to do it and I wouldn't want to give it up. But at the same time, like I don't want to be like, oh, Hitch can't have Vision back, it's mine. Because it's like obviously the fans want you to control it, like it's obvious, but like at the same time I don't know if that's necessarily, and this isn't to roast you at all, I don't know if that's necessarily what's best for the series. Like it will give the fans the instant gratification, but like long term I don't know if you doing it by yourself would be
I don't think it would be thing. It wouldn't be a by myself thing.
Yeah,
I don't think.
But the thing is, I wouldn't want to take like a huge back seat on it either.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So it's like, because it's like, okay, then why am I living? Because I moved to Dallas to work on Vision, like realistically. So if that were to go away, it's like, okay, why did I had family in LA, I had friends in LA, I had a like good life in LA, and I moved here specifically. I was like, I want to get OpTic content back on track. And I want Vision. I just want to slay Vision.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, like Hitch's Burnout. I just like I'm not at that point yet. Like I literally just want to come in, just come out the gate swinging and show people like, hey, like this isn't a bad thing that I'm taking over. Which I think for the first couple episodes, people really liked it. But you know, trying to do that show weekly when, especially at the time, we had 8 teams.
Yeah.
COD, Gears, CS, Dota, PUBG, Fortnite, Overwatch League. So trying to do that, trying to do 8 teams weekly. Let's say only half those teams have an event, like in a month. That means only to cover half your teams. If you're going to events, you're traveling every single week.
Yeah,
which means you're editing on a laptop, working on the road.
Right.
Which editing Vision on the road when I don't have access to Hex or creators or anybody else that's like been a part of OpTic for a long time. That's just not possible. So like trying to include everyone was like a really big challenge at the beginning, especially CS. Even to this day, we have a problem trying to cover CS.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going off on a tangent. So it's like there's a lot of problems with Vision now that I think can be fixed, but I don't know. We'll get there eventually, I think. But I wouldn't want to give it up. I don't know. But at the same time, like, what would I actually want to do? I would actually, one thing that I've actually really liked about being as high, I don't want to say high up because I'm not like a part of the executive team by any means, but because of all the changes that happened at the end of last year, I got put in a position where I was sitting at the table with a lot of really important people, and I got to make at least not big decisions, but I got to be involved in those conversations, and I really liked the business end of it. Like I actually like fell in love, you know, sitting down and talking to Pepsi and our sponsors and like pitching ideas and just like the collaborative process and like negotiating like terms and little things like that I fell in love with. So like taking like not a backseat in content, but focusing on like a lot of our huge announcements, like from like a production standpoint, and then having more of like a business end role in the company. That's what I would want to do.
It's crazy that thinking back all the way into that meeting on the like whenever we were sitting on the couches and me talking about how well you and I would work together, and it's fucking 3 years later and we still haven't worked together.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if we're in the same room, shit's going to get done. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
So regardless of whatever happens, like, I don't know. I mean, who knows if I ever fucking come back? Who knows? Yeah. I mean, who knows if Hex is ever in that position where he's like, yo, let's go back. Then at that point, I would just be like, I'll go back, and regardless of whatever happens, like, bangers are going to come out of it. So let me read this tweet.
Oh, shit.
I love this, but at the same time, I'm so stressed. Dota in Birmingham, the 20th through the 28th. COD in Columbus, the 29th through the 31st. CS and PUBG in Austin, the 1st through the 3rd. COD in Columbus, the 5th through the 7th. Content in Dallas for OpTic Arena, the 8th through the 10th. E3 in Seattle, the 12th through the 14th. COD League Overwatch LA the 15th through the 17th. That is the 20th of whatever fucking month to the 17th of the next month
of travel.
Of not being home.
I think I was gone for like a total of like 40 days or something like that. I think like something else happened where I just wasn't home for...
Question number 1, how did you do laundry?
Fucking hotels, man.
You did hotel laundry?
I still do that, actually. I travel because when I travel with like a really big camera, it's called an FS7 now. So I don't take like a huge suitcase with me when I go to events. I take like a small, just like a carry-on size, and I always do laundry now. Like I literally just, because there's only like a select few things that I actually like wearing, like in my wardrobe. So I literally just wash it and just like rewear it at events. So it's it's like you have to, especially when you have schedules like that. Having a big suitcase, you have to do laundry. So it's like, why not just have a small one, not have a pain of lugging that everywhere, and then
like that is fucking ridiculous. That is insane. Like my worst. And the thing is, I like that. The thing is, when I tweeted that, I was like, fuck yeah. Grind time, let's get it. Dude, let's do this. I loved it.
That's right when I took Vision over.
Yeah. Which is the best time for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I think my craziest was I had a Gears, a Halo, a COD, and a CS event back to back to back. Mm-hmm. And so I left from Thursday to Monday, 4 weeks straight, and then got 4 visions up all those weeks. And so I would land on Monday, edit Tuesday night to Wednesday, then leave Thursday. And it happened 4 weeks straight. And I just remember that. And I think the last one, that's when we did like what was it? It was like we won 3 events 3 weeks straight in 3 different esports. So that was the first time I ever did an hour-long vision. I'll never forget that. So like whenever, that's how I relate to that tweet, but that is insane. And that is when we still had way too many teams, way too many people, one person job.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing that like from a fan's perspective, it's really easy to be like we're
careful what you say.
I didn't see it. I literally, everyone opened up a second tab on Reddit and went, I gotta read this shit. Literally right then. But it's easy because I like almost like I never, even when I was like a fan of OpTic, I never went on the YouTube comments or Reddit and went like, but like I thought like, I remember when you were making, I think it was like season 2 of Vision. Like you put out an episode, I was like, I could fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like everyone does that, especially like people who are like aspiring videographers.
That's what I did with Legends, and Legends is fucking insane.
Yeah,
it's so much better than anything I've ever put out.
Fucking good.
But I literally saw Legends. Well, actually, I saw the Smash doc and said I could do that, and then I saw Legends, and I was like, I could do that. I think. Yeah. And then I never got to that point, but still.
Yeah. But
that's the last thing we need to talk about.
But
keep talking.
So for like, it's easy for someone to not realize the stresses and the details and how logistically hard it is to actually put this together, because they go, people see Vision and they go, oh, this is like, they all live in Texas, so they should just be able to be like, hey, come do this interview, blah 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 blah, and like everyone's super easy to work with. And it's like getting interviews, like actually filming and editing Vision actually isn't that hard. It's logistically planning and putting it together and being like, okay, I need Gears interviews for this, I need COD interviews for this, I need Dota, I need Fortnite. Okay, I need to hit my group chat with the COD team. They're gonna ego the fuck out of me. So then I need to hit up this person to message this person, to message Hex,
right?
Or I need to text Hex to be like, hey, can you get someone to do a Vision interview for me? So sweet, now I got that interview. Sweet, now I got to get Gears. They're super easy to work with. They'll come through, and then it's like, okay, Dota's traveling for the next 2 weeks, so what the fuck are they doing? I got to plan something with them, and it's like trying to like put all the pieces together is what's so damn hard about Vision, especially when there's a lot of things that rely on other people.
Yeah.
So it's really, really tricky to handle. Like one of the reasons why, I don't know if I can really get into this. We didn't have a vision. I'll just be vague about it. One of the reasons why we didn't have a vision for like 2 months is announcements either got pushed or canceled altogether. That's like the most I can get into it. But it's like we had stuff planned in January, but it's like, okay, like
that was when we were on the whiteboard, right? Me and you talking about this crazy big vision that was going to happen, and then none of it happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which was finale 4.
Right.
So, and then even this last month.
Yes.
Like there was a lot of stuff I had planned. It's like, okay, this got pushed to this date. This got canceled. Like this isn't happening anymore. Okay, well this is at this date, so now I got to wait to this date to film this, which means Vision can't be until X date. So it's like there's like a lot of like little small things that make Vision difficult. And the thing is, everyone looks at like all these other organizations, and this isn't to bash any other team, but they're like, oh well, Liquid and 1UP do squad, and it's like. TSM does Legends, and they have theirs up on time, and it's so good. And it's like, okay.
Dude.
I love, before I say anything more, okay?
This is a good
I love every other cinematographer, videographer, editor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I love Damien, Max, Ian, Nick, literally everybody that is in the videographer world. I actually have a pretty good connection with everybody. I'm friends with all of them. But to compare like Squad, we'll bring Team Liquid because that's like a perfect example. Squad, and then put Vision side by side and be like, Squad's so much better. It's like, okay, well they have 3 to 4 people working on that series,
right,
on a team that is in their facility every single day of the week. It's one team.
So it's probably in their contract.
Probably in their contract. And the LCS studio is literally within 200 yards of their studio. So it's like literally back forth. Super easy. And their apartments are super close. That's one doc series. Vision was across 7-8 teams. People who, like, we don't have access to their apartments, and we shouldn't. But other teams do. They don't work out of the same facility as us.
Right.
A lot of teams are traveling all over the place. Like, right now, the only teams that actually live here are Gears and half a COD.
Yep.
Everybody else is
gone.
Yeah. So it's like trying to piece that together and be like apples to oranges. It's not. Vision isn't your typical documentary series. It's different than every other one.
What's different about it, man?
Yeah, am I gassing you too much now?
No, it is fucking different. And that's what I used to say. Like, please compare me to League where... Yeah. Or please compare me to fucking Legends. Like, please. Because... obviously,
you lose that battle no matter what. Even if you spend 3 weeks on your production for that, you still lose.
If you defend yourself against those, you look like a fucking baby.
Yeah, and it looks like you're just giving excuses.
Yeah.
Which is why I honestly don't, like, when I first took on Vision, I would, like, tweet some shit. Like, I remember I posted a tweet once where we got railed in the comment section, and I tweeted a picture of Game of Thrones fucking... Ned Stark getting his head chopped off. And I remember you replied to it. You're like, yo, you got to chill with that. Like, Reddit's going to be all over you. And, man, it's like, now, like, for the most part, I just fucking tweet memes. And
it is what it is.
Mind my business.
That's how I got. That's how I got. Because at first it used to bug the shit out of me. And a good transition is I have a lot of inspiration. My biggest inspirations within esports are obviously Samox, the guy who did the Smash Doc. And Max, and I've talked to Max 0 times, like in person, but I've talked to him like through DMs or whatnot. But the way that I don't think I've ever talked about this like public. Actually, yeah, I have. I did one around the bar whenever I won videographer.
The 2-time champ, videographer of the year, filming for 3 months.
Yeah. So whenever I won last year, what was I just talking about? I forgot what I was talking about. But when, so I'm not friends with any of them besides Cassidy. Cassidy's my fucking boy. Yeah, I love that dude.
I think I've only met him once or twice.
I love Cassidy. Yeah. So I realized very quickly. Okay, I got put in a Skype message.
This is a wild
group chat with Max, Damien, and like two other people. I can't even remember who it was. I just remember Max and Damien. And I was like, hell yeah! Like I'm actually getting fucking accepted into these people that used to be my like
people you look up to. Yeah.
And I realized real quick that's not what it was going to be. Real fucking quick, and it's not. And it's. I know my place. I really do. I don't think they think I do know my place, but
I actually wanted to bring that up. I was like,
that's what I wrote down.
What was when you won the second time?
It was ridiculous.
How'd you find out? Were you watching the stream, and what was the first thing that came to mind?
When they asked for an acceptance speech, I was like, what? And I talked to you about it, and I talked to Hex about it. I was like, they asked for an acceptance speech, and Hex said that you never. He was like, I know what you want to do because I know how you are, but don't do it because I was going to pull out.
Yeah.
Which I didn't find out till later that Max pulled out.
Yeah.
And if I would have known Max pulled out, I probably would have if Hex wouldn't have talked to me. Because Hex said the dumbest thing you can do is deny an award. Because it's and I thought about it and I was like, okay. First of all,
what's the thought process behind that though? I'm curious.
There's a ton. Well, first of all, it's a fan voted award, which fan voted awards hold no legitimacy to the people that are up for the award.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense. Like if fucking, what kind of like when Nate Shot won Esports Player of the Year, it's like Nate Shot should have been. It's a fan voted award. Like he wasn't the most winningest person. He wasn't, and so you have the top Call of Duty pros that are like Nate Shot won it. You know what I mean? So when I won it, I knew that was the final straw. Like I'm never going to be sitting down with the videographers at esports and having a conversation with them.
I think you could because there's a lot of people that I'm friends with. Like I have a group chat with like 20 odd like videographers, and they all think that you hate them. But I'm like, honestly, he probably just doesn't know you.
I don't hate any of them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I always say because like we all roast each other, and then like I remember when you won that group chat.
I can't even imagine it.
Bang!
I can't.
And I just ignored it. I was like, holy shit! Because me and Narwhal, who are also nominated for it, we're sitting right next to each other watching the awards because we're like, oh, probably Gabe won. Because I remember Gabe, I think recorded an acceptance speech as well. I don't know. I heard something, and I was like, oh, Gabe probably won. Or Max or someone like that.
Right.
And then when they called Hitch, I remember Narwhal turned to me and I was just like, holy fuck, he's literally about to just get cooked by everybody.
Cooked.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, Twitter's going to blow up.
You want to know how ridiculous it was? And I'm super grateful. I never tweeted to vote for me, not one time. I tweeted to vote for you.
Yeah. And I brought that up too because they were all like, oh, why'd he win? I was like, he tweeted to help me. I even brought that up. I was like, this isn't on him by any means.
Right.
If anything, it's on
what could it be on? It's a fan voted thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy to think that, in my opinion, I don't know. I love Finale 4. It's probably my favorite vision.
Wait, really?
It's probably like my second favorite.
What's your favorite? Crossroads?
The Distance. It's
I don't know.
It was
I don't know that one by name.
When we went to New York for the CS event and we beat G2. It was like it was just a fun vision.
Yeah.
Like I went crazy with the edits for some reason, and it was just a cool ass kind of thing. And then it was kind of leading up. Was it leading up to? Yeah, it was like leading up to our E-League win, which was like. I think right now in OpTic, our E-League win is like the peak of OpTic, which is maybe champs.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe champs. I think that was definitely one of the because there's peaks and valleys all over the place, but I'd say that is definitely one of them.
Yeah,
because taking an NA roster that was a bunch of like not no name players, but a lot of low like ESEA or like top ESEA players, and turning them into professional players that are even today recognized as some of the best players in the world that were like no names back then, and they went and won E-League. Like
it's crazy.
Like it's definitely one of the peaks.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not saying that I did it. I'm not saying that I'm not. I don't know, because people always say you don't like give yourself enough credit, but regardless, it's crazy to think that my 2016 vlogs on my personal channel won me Videographer of the Year twice, which is basically what happened in my opinion. if I didn't have
the platform,
I wouldn't have won. Arguably the first year, whatever. I think I have an argument for the first year. The second year, I give to the fans. And so when I'm talking to Hex and he said, "Don't ever deny an award," because if you deny an award, a fan voted award, that's a slap in the face towards the fans that voted for you, and it's also you're going to do a part-time noble thing, or you're going to do something that you think is right in the meantime that nobody's going to remember 2 years from now, 3 years from now, maybe.
Yeah. I can see that.
When I'm 50 years old, I'll still be able to say I won videographer of the year twice, way back. Yeah. And nobody's gonna, You
going for the 3-peat?
Don't make them hate me more. And I remember I won, and I texted you. What did I text you?
Oh, you texted me some shit, and I was like, "You want Vision back?" or some shit like that. You remember that?
I texted you immediately after, like or like LOL or something like that. But dude, if I could have been a fly on the wall in that chat,
oh, bro, it was ruthless.
Actually,
they weren't that bad. At first, I think like the first couple messages were bad, and then I said like he said vote for me, and like he like was completely against like actually winning the award, and they're like, oh, it's true, and then it like turned in like they were still like memeing and everything like that, but it wasn't nearly as bad.
Dude, I recorded that. I was at such a bad point in my life when I recorded that acceptance speech. I think about where I recorded it, how I recorded it, what was going on at the time, and I'm just like, dude, it's like my 2018 was so bad, and that was such a weird part of it that I was just like,
damn.
It is what it is. I mean, I do hope that an actual I love the esports awards. The people that work there are amazing. Like I met some really cool people there. The structure that they have is great. The red carpet and everything is so sick. But I do hope eventually there is like an actual like Grammys or something like
legitimate.
Yeah. And that's not to. I'm not taking away from what esports awards is. It's just
if you could have. I don't even know if we should ask it. I was gonna say if you could have chosen who got videographer for the year last year. Gabe?
Or you. But I'm biased towards you because you're my friend.
Yeah. I'd probably say Gabe. I want to know what Max. I want to know what Max was actually producing last year because he gave up Legends like a couple, like halfway into the season because he gave it over to Andrew. Do you know Andrew?
No.
He's the other videographer for TSM. But I'm curious what he actually produced last year because did you ever watch like the Meet TSM Myth or any of those that like bang got like 1.5 or 2 million views each?
The intro to the TSM Myth thing. Did Max make that?
I don't know because they have this other guy Shane. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Please don't watch this, Shane. Shane, who actually now works for 1UP or is about to start working for 1UP, but he was working on a lot of the Fortnite stuff. So I don't know if that was him or if that was Max or whoever.
We're an hour late on this. Max is the guy that makes TSM Legends.
Yes, exactly.
Damien is the guy that used to make the Liquid series.
Yeah, now he's the CD for Liquid.
Okay. He created 1UP, something like that.
I want to say yes, but like he was like the head of 1UP for a long time, and then he recently actually now just started working for Team Liquid, and then this other guy Ian, who's amazing, is working or is the head of 1UP now. So
and a big thing with me, like kind of going on that tangent still is I never and I think you're the only person that I've ever like actually said this to but I think Cassidy like gets it. That's why like we were always like kind of homies. Is that I don't pride my videographer is not even like I don't even consider myself a videographer. It's not like my thing. It's just that's the only thing to call it.
Yeah.
Like I was an OpTic fan that made videos about OpTic that I wish I could have seen when I was an OpTic fan.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm getting every time I hang out with the fucking with Enrique and fucking Oreo. I just get not Enrique because he's the nicest person in the world, but Oreo just blasts me because it's like, dude, your videos suck, and I'm like, how are your fucking pictures, little fucking pussy, like shit like that. And it's like, and I know that, like, and it kind of bothered me for the first 2 years, and then at one point I was just like,
you need to point
whatever,
like exactly,
like I'm gonna get the shot, I'm gonna throw a sick ass beat on top of it, and people are gonna like it, and it's more about how
your
I
biggest
tell
flex
it.
is like, I can do this by myself, not have the production, and still get twice your views. Like that is like your biggest like
but
flex.
I never.
Oh no, you never flexed it, but you 100% could have.
I probably said some shit behind closed doors. That I regret. But it's just like whenever I'm getting blasted, and I know I'm getting blasted at the end of the day,
you just want to come out and be savage as fuck. Be like, I can't.
Just tweet both trophies. And my ping pong trophy is bigger than both trophies combined. But yeah, and I don't know. Regardless, I'm glad you get it. The white elephant is always going to be there until we fucking team up and make the best.
I'm curious. I'm actually curious because I always see it on Reddit. Because after a vision goes up, I always see people on Reddit talking about, I miss the old vision, blah, blah, blah. And I always see people like, I wish they could just both do it. Yeah. I'm actually curious
how it would go,
what that would look like. So I remember mentioning,
it would be your shots.
Probably.
It would be
you doing interviews. And then like the way, like in my head, how I would see us working on vision, which is going to get very technical, is you would sit down, I would create the set for the, like how we're going to shoot it. I would hit record. You would come in with a notebook, ask the questions.
Dude, yes.
Then you would sit down at a computer, cut all the interviews in the sequence in order how you want it.
Tell you to color correct them.
Tell me to color correct them, and then I would add cinematography over that, and then you would pick out the beats probably.
Yeah, and we would probably both chime in on how to lay it all out.
Yeah.
But I feel like even when I was throwing shit together, I think that was my biggest thing is that because like somehow I could make it.
Yeah, because I'm sure you're the same way with me. Like, especially lately, and I need to stop. I've become very picky of how things are done. So like if someone else does something, I'm like, no, like let me do it. I want to do everything.
Yeah,
and I actually have to catch myself a lot of the time. Like we were setting up the new OpTic play set at the new house, and Joe came upstairs and he was like putting stuff down. He wasn't helping me. And I was like, hey, like you want to help? He's like, I know you're just gonna yell at me if I help, so I'm just gonna let you do it. And I was like, damn,
it's so true. Though.
I was like, damn. I was like,
so
fuck. And like every once in a while, I have to especially the last like 2 months, I've noticed my not temper, but my patience like goes like super quick. Like there'll be times where something happens and I get so pissed, and I'll like say something to most of the time it's Joe. I'll say something and I'll walk out of like his like editing bay and I'll be like, fuck, and I'll have to go and be like, I'm sorry, this is just the way I see it, this makes the most sense, blah, 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 blah. And he, like, Joe's super understanding, like, he's super laid back, so, like, he gets it. But dude, I'm sure you're the same way, where you're like, I just want to do things my way and not have to worry about other people.
Yeah. Did you just say that?
Yeah.
That's literally how you got vision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so to wrap it up, because holy shit, we're talkers.
Yep.
I don't know how I want to end it. How is it?
I fucking know what's coming.
What do you mean?
You're gonna say, how's it taking my job?
No. I already made those jokes. Yeah. I've made way too many of those.
Yeah. What do you mean? How is it? Like, elaborate on. Like, how is it having vision?
What would you change?
Ooh, this is where I get fired.
You can answer it however you want, but what would you change? Would you change the same things that I would have changed? Are you getting to a point where I got to, or
I think I passed that?
You passed
honestly, like I actually thought about that. I was like, because how many months did you put in before of new? Did you put in before you were like, I'm out? Probably like 4.
I would say
3 or 4, because you moved in beginning of December and you were out February.
I would say 4, yeah.
I think I've gone through that probably twice now. Like, I've gotten to the
fuck this point.
And this actually could come and bite me in the ass, but I'm going to say it anyways. I've gotten to the point where I've said, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, twice
now. And it got so bad the last time that I actually here, sat right over here. This is back when both the desks were sitting here.
Yeah.
This is before you had moved into this place. And I had like texted Hax. I was like, hey, like, can I talk to you? He's like, yeah, sure. I came in here, me and him sat down, and I like laid it all out, told him like my headspace, where I'm at, everything like that. And I was like, what would you do? Because I obviously respect Hex, like what he's built over the last couple of years, and his overall opinion, and thought that maybe he could either give me peace of mind that there's a bigger picture that this all plays into, or not. And he didn't really. Honestly, it didn't really help a whole lot, just because like we were in a spot at that time where it was like, don't know what's happening, kind of thing. Like nothing was really progressing. He was like super understanding. He was like, I get where you're at. If like that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. I totally get it. Like there's no ill will towards you. So like you just got to make your decision. And I thought about it a lot, like a lot. And I had other opportunities, like 3 or 4 opportunities that I could go to. And
I remember one of them.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Like OpTic, like I grew up watching OpTic turn into what it is. And I knew that if I gave up on it and it worked out in the end, that I would
regret it for the rest of your life.
Regret it. So I was like, you know what? I'm here till the fucking day this thing hits the ground.
Yep. We're in the exact same spot.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay. No matter what happens, I'm here. Like, doesn't matter what happens, I will always be here trying to make this brand the best brand on earth.
I have had production offers. I have had videography offers. I've had content offers. And even I got one last week. And it's kind of idiotic that I'm not taking them. But
you just can't swallow it.
I can't. Yeah. I'm going to get an OpTic tattoo next month.
Are you really?
Yeah. And it's a lifestyle that I hope one day at least a couple. I mean, I know there's a couple supporters out there that do get it, but I hope one day people are going to be like, damn. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because it's not like I'm doing it for the respect of it or whatever. But I think back to my 2018 was obviously like a tipping point. But I even think back to like my 2016, my 2017, and it's like I kind of went through a fuck ton of stuff to eventually be like, I fucking did it. And then when I got to that I did it point, everything fell apart.
Yeah.
So it kind of like. That's what eats at me.
Yeah.
But it's to a point where I have too much love. I've made too many good friends. I've made too many, good projects where I'm just like, I can't
let it go.
I can't let it go. I'll never be able to.
It'll always be like a piece that you just is a part of you.
I mean, managers or managers. What is it when when somebody represents you? Agents.
Yeah.
Agents have told me to leave. Family has told me to leave.
The thing is, they look at stats on a piece of paper. They don't look at the.
They think I can just go to Team B and do what I did in OpTic. Yeah. And I might be able to do something along the lines, but it won't be the same. It will never be the same.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm doing what makes me happiest at this particular moment because I'm still, I'm not. I don't think I'm dependent on OpTic as far as career wise. Like I'm sure I could do other good things and be a part of something big, but I don't know. I just can't. I'll never be able to fucking do it. I'd never be able to take those 5 letters out of my name. So I don't know. It's just I feel like that's where it is. I feel like a lot of people out there think there's beef between us.
Yeah, a lot of people
think
it.
But I don't think they know that we're
like very similar in a lot of, we're different in a lot of ways, but like in a lot, especially like in like a professional setting and like what we're actually passionate about, and like I don't know, like
we're very good at disagreeing too. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
When we disagree about shit, we'll disagree and I'll just be like, "You're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid," and then.
Well, like I like even like when I get in arguments at the office, so like a lot of times, like even literally today, I like got in a disagreement with someone. And I was like, agree to disagree. I was like, I'm not going to change my point of view. You're not. Like, there's no point in us yelling at each other. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And he was like, okay.
I'm not that way with a lot of people. With you, I can do it.
Yeah. With like there's certain details that I am very hard. Like I will stand my ground on, and I've actually done a lot over the last like 3-4 months. With like a lot of the stuff that we had going on at the end of last year, I was like, no, this is how we're doing it.
Yeah.
It has to be done this way or it's not happening. And it was like,
did I egg you on in that way at all? Because
no.
I feel like I was always like, you fuck, like you need to do it.
But like my thing was, and this is to kind of tie back to like TK a little bit, with me kind of regretting a lot of the decisions I didn't make at TK and being very passive, and kind of letting things come at me and not like going out and grabbing it. When I came here, I was like, there's no fucking way I let that happen again. So I was very vocal. And like, the thing is, like, you guys don't really, like, a lot of the creators, like you and even Hex, don't really see like that side of me. Like when like we go to like film content, I'm just kind of like stressed trying to like piece everything together and like just kind of like roll with the punches. But when I'm like at the office, I'm very vocal on like how things need to be done. I'm like, no, this is how we're doing it. This is how we're doing it. And it gets me in trouble a lot. But it's like at the end of the day, like if I think it's going to make it better, I'm going to say it. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's been it, I guess.
I think I'm safe, right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I told you I wasn't going to ask you anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is something that at least
people have been wanting for a long time.
There's a couple of OpTic nerds out there that are going to be happy this video happened, which is, I feel like that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no beef between Roger and I.
Not yet, at least. We'll see.
Not yet.
We'll see when he comes back, tries to take Vision from me.
That is true. Then I think we should just get into a ring and then
box it out.
Box it out.
We're in the gym tomorrow, Matt. It's happening. Are we gonna be on the KSI card?
Probably.
Yeah.
Winner of this gets videographer for OpTic. Everyone get excited.
Yeah, everyone's like, okay, we're going to go to the concession stands.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what I'm naming this yet, but
let's just go up
tomorrow.
Woo! I'm going to have some conversations with people tomorrow.
Since you're my boss, can we call the new OpTic content house the Fleshlight House?
Yes. You heard it here first.
See you guys.